Welcome everyone, David Wanted 797 here, and I'm back doing menu book number 42. I'm in the Mazda LM55. I set out on this race, ready for a fun race. Now this track I don't know that well, however I was able to keep it on the track. However, you can see within lap 1, end of lap 2, I was able to catch up to the leader and take the lead position at the start of lap 3. I then settled in for what turned out to be the most boring race I think I've had on Gran Turismo 7. I pit on lap 4 to change tyres and refuel, and to save the boredom I finished the race in first. I then moved over to Suzuka circuit where it looked like it was going to rain, however the radar showed no rain. So I had my softs and I kicked off for 10 laps of Suzuka. I really enjoy this track. Starting from the back, I knew I had to make up ground and I had some fun laps. This Mazda has a lot of speed and a lot of grip. Now the rubber banding is insane when you play on career mode or the menu books. Some of these cars are not very competitive online. But as I came to the end of lap 1, I had made up some decent ground. I then made this mistake on lap 2, nearly going into the wall there. But was able to turn myself around. How's my re-entry there? Sending another guy off the track. By lap 3, the rain was coming in hard. And it looked patchy. And I probably should have read the cards here where I slid off, but I made my first mistake of this race by not going into the pits thinking the rain would hopefully subside. But lap 4 turned out to be a disaster. P6 there giving me a nice shunt to keep me on the track, as I painfully made my way around the track on softs, trying to avoid P7 there, but the soft tyre's not doing anything. After a very long, slow time, I then had this happen where I slid off the track, soft tyres, and of course Gran Turismo felt it needed to remind me to follow the rules, and I copped a 7-second penalty. I, however, finally did very slowly make it back to the pits, and I made another mistake by choosing wet tyres. On lap 5, I came out of the pits very gingerly as the tyres were not warm. It felt like I had no grip and no feeling. I then served my 7-second penalty. By lap 7, the track started to dry out, but I was still on wet tyres, which did not bode well for the next few laps. On lap 9, after this mistake and worn out wets, I decided to call it quits and try again. This time though, I knew there was rain coming and I knew wets were not a good idea, so I set about lap 1 trying to get the fastest I could, as move up the pack as quickly as I could, rubber banding in full effect as I fly past everyone, giving them a ram here and there, because why not? Just AI. By lap 2, the rain I could see was coming. Now I did debate pushing to lap 3. I still had a lot of tread on those soft tyres, but I didn't want to make the same mistake again and have to do this race again. So I decided to pit. However, I made the choice to go for intermediates, and I decided not to refuel. As I came out of the pits, the rain was just starting very lightly. I did worry that perhaps I should have waited, as my inters very quickly started turning red and wearing on the dry track. However, the decision to get inters that lap early did actually pay off. The track was getting wet by the end of lap 3. And by lap 4, I was catching the whole pack who were still on softs. I just had to navigate past them all. The rain really coming down. I then painfully got stuck behind these cars as the yellow flag prohibited overtaking, and I didn't want to cop another penalty. I'd learned from my last race. Then this guy spun out and I was unable to avoid him, which slowed me down. But then I got some breathing air. I finally caught up to the next pack, and as you can see, the rain was really coming down, pushing into that full wet territory. My inters were starting to struggle. They were starting to wear. But I decided to push on for another lap. I still had 2 laps of fuel left. I caught P2 on lap 5. And I was able to get past him pretty easily. But then making a mistake, and he kindly keeps me on the track. I easily passed him on the straight. And as you can see, the track is so wet now, full wets are required. I knew the track was going to dry up though, so I decided to go for inters again, and this time getting my final bit of fuel to get me to the finish. I came out on lap 6. It's still raining. I was now in P4, so I dropped 2 positions. I was able to catch up to P3 and had a very small battle with him. As you can see, I'm sliding a little bit, going a bit slow as the track is so wet. Nearly having a moment there. P3 has to pit, so I'm able to take that position. By lap 7, the track had started to dry out. I had 3 laps that I needed to catch up to P1 while not destroying my tyres. As you can see on lap 9, I've caught up to P2. My tyres are starting to feel it. The track is still a little bit wet. And I had 14 seconds to gain. I thought it was a long shot and I might not make it. I then made this mistake and I basically wrote off the idea of getting first place. I only needed to get 3rd, however, so I was going to endure. However, a miracle then happened and I realized P1 still had to pit for fuel. So I still had a shot at winning this race by sheer chance on the last lap. As I came down the home straight, P1's coming out of the pits there on the right. I'm able to take P1, but now I have traffic to deal with on the last lap. My tyres are completely shot. I was struggling to keep the car on the track. I actually started driving a little bit on some wetter patches to hopefully have more grip. There's a moment there and I have to slow down to not get tangled up in that. But I've still managed to make a 3-second gap, and with only half a lap of fuel, absolutely destroyed tyres, that front left completely dead. I came first, and menu book 42 is done. If you enjoyed that one, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hit that like button and subscribe for more.